Trust the universe with another video. In today's video, I'm just going to break down, give some motivation on how to transcend the physical reality or any physical addictions, or the ego. You cannot kill the ego, but you can control it. The same way with the mind. You can't kill the mind, but you can control it. Now let's get into it. And yeah, peace and love to everyone listening. Let's get it, we're growing together. Now let's start off. Since you've been incarnated into this lifetime, you're living the human experience. At some points in your life, like every single person, you're going to have bits where your ego has urges and you follow your ego and you're living more in your ego. You're living more in that physical, third dimensional life. But then obviously now you're awakened, you activate your true self, you're on your semen intention path, your spiritual path, you're on your good stuff. But there's still, the ego's still there, and sometimes, like everybody else, the ego still has, little urges, like it gives you urges, it gives you past self, your old self, your ego self, your illusion self, this, it comes up, and you get like these little urges, these old things, or you get these thoughts about old things, and you kind of like, gets you a little bit excited, like the hype comes up, and you're like, it was the physical. But that's just an illusion, and like, I know that can sometimes hinder you and make you feel depressed. Sometimes it'd be like, oh, why can't I do certain things? Like, I want to do this, but that's the thing. Sometimes there are certain things we shouldn't be doing. Yeah, you're allowed to have fun and do stuff, but if it's anything that's low vibrational that is not going to help you, but you're kind of like, oh, yeah, shall I do it? Nah. Have fun, still have fun, flow through. Do what your higher self, your spirit wants you to do, but don't be doing anything you were doing in your old self. If you're going to do anything, do it in a high vibrational way. That's the best way, because you don't want to hinder your growth. Because the most important thing is your ascension, your growth, and your mastery. Always remember that in these times, these thoughts or these urges. Because the ego is still here. It's very present because you're living in it. This body, this vessel. And I know it is hard, because there's this whole physical out here. There's so many distractions. And you're living in this body, you're experiencing the feelings, the urges of this body. But I just want to tell you, stay in there. My bro, stay in there. Because you've got this. The biggest motivation you can give yourself is your ascension. Think of, if any of these things come up, think of your end path. Because this is how I transcended it. I'm speaking from experience, because obviously at first, yeah, the ego was there and you're still doing some low vibrational things, but then you transcend that. And that transcendence is how you really overcome it. Because it's that thought, it's that motivation, like, I'm going to stop this. And you start doing semen retention, you start uplifting and doing more higher vibrational things, you meditate. You start doing more higher vibrational things, you transcend it. You still have fun and you're having a human experience, but you're not doing it low vibrationally, you're doing it in your spiritual way. You're following your spirit, your higher self. And that's how you're meant to do it. You do it as a spiritual being, not as your ego, as a physical human, because you're not human. Just some motivation and some help for if you're ever going through these ego things. Think about your end goal, what you want to do, and think of it is that hype even necessary? Is it even that good? And just let go of it and just be like, if you can be on semen retention, the same for semen retention. Physical urges, sexual urges, or anything. Just try and overcome it. Transcend that physical. Be like your God level. Just be like, would a God do this? Would I do this? As my true self, is this going to help me? Ask those questions and then be like, what else can I do to be even more fun? That's high vibrational. And then trust me, that's how you transcend it. Peace and love to all the gods and goddesses listening.